Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Bryan Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Bryan Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we'll take another look at the discussion Ken Rahjes had with Kansas Governor Sam Brownback about the state of Kansas Ag. Inside Kansas Ag has a story from Farm Food Connection about a Johnson County family's day out on the farm. And in news you need to know, we'll have our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. USDA's Farm Service Agency Administrator Juan Garcia announced that farmers should start receiving notices updating them on their current base acres, yields, and 2009 through 2012 planting histories. These inventories will help prepare ag producers for the new safety net programs put in place in the 2014 Farm Bill. By midwinter, all farm producers will be required to make a one-time election between the ARC or the PLC for the 2014 through 2018 crop years. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack issued a federal order making reporting of the PEDV and other porcine viruses mandatory. He also designated $26 million in funds to address porcine-related diseases. Since PEDV was first identified in the U.S. more than a year ago, an estimated 8 million animals have died from the disease, mostly pre-weaned piglets. The White House's Rural Council announced the creation of the U.S. Rural Infrastructure Opportunity Fund, where private investors can invest in rural job-creating projects across the country. $10 billion has already been committed to the fund, with more investments expected to follow. Target projects will include rural water and wastewater systems, energy projects, broadband expansion, and other rural infrastructure projects. And in local news, in a recent visit to Representative Tim Huelscamp's office, leaders from the Kansas Corn Growers Association delivered a letter signed by several ag and ethanol groups asking him to remove his name as a co-sponsor of the American Energy Renaissance Act. This bill calls for the repeal of the Renewable Fuel Standard, a key program that gives ethanol producers access to sell their products in a market controlled by the oil industry. Huelscamp's staff told KCGA that he will not respond to the letter. Kansas feedlots with 1,000 or more head contained 1.9 million cattle on feed on July 1st. According to the USDA's National Ag Statistics Service, this inventory was down 6% from last year and is the lowest July inventory since 1998. Placements during June totaled 315,000 head, down 10% from 2013, and fed cattle for June totaled 420,000 head, up 8% from last year. Kansas State University's Risk and Profit Conference, being held August 21st through the 22nd, will focus on reforms in densely populated China and how those reforms impact U.S. agriculture. The conference will also include presentations by K-State Research and Extension Specialists Glenn Tonzer and Dan O'Brien. More information on the conference is available online at ksre.ksu.edu. Up next in our Ag Feature, we'll look again at the discussion Ken Rahjes had with Kansas Governor Sam Brownback about the state of Kansas Ag. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ken Rahjes from AgView. This fall, we'll be profiling candidates for elected office here in Kansas. Stay connected with agview.net and kansasAGreport.com.
You can find us on the web at kansasAGreport.com and make sure to like us on Facebook.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
The Red Hot Summer Sales event is going on now at Dick Edwards in Manhattan, and you have never seen a selection of America's best lineup like this before. We've got year-end sales pricing right now on Ford, Lincoln, and Mazda. You won't want to miss 0% interest on select models, top dollar for your trade, and if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll get it. The Red Hot Summer Sales event is going on now at Dick Edwards in Manhattan, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At Ag Risk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
Ag Risk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City is celebrating the grand opening of their new dealership at I-70 and Highway 77, and we are giving away a new 2014 F-150 Lariat Crew Cab 4-wheel drive truck. All you need to do is come check out the new Dick Edwards Auto Plaza and register for the F-150 or one of the many other prizes to be given away between now and August 16th. Don't miss out on your chance to win this 2014 F-150 Lariat now. Only at Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, located at I-70 and Highway 77 in Junction City.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
We're being joined by Kansas Governor Sam Brownback, and we're looking at the state of Kansas agriculture. Well, Governor, as we know, wheat harvest is just about wrapped up around the state, and probably varying reports, some good, maybe some not so good. But right now, spring or fall crops look pretty good. What are you hearing? What are you seeing as you travel around the state looking at agriculture in Kansas?
Well, we're finally getting some rain. We hadn't been getting any rain for a long period of time, and that has hurt us obviously a lot. But we're getting rain. Some areas around Dodge City got 10 inches in June. Of course, that was maybe not the time period they were actually hoping for it with what happened in the wheat harvest, but crops look great. The agricultural trajectory of this state looks excellent. The expansion of the dairy industry has really been a shot in the arm in a lot of areas, and now we're getting the processing plants associated with that industry. And then just the world's ability to pay for food has increased so substantially that we're getting more demands for the food products. We're the #1 state for prime farmland in the United States, total quantity of it. And it's kind of like it's a good time to be Kansas, as our stuff is moving forward. Our energy industry that's also in the rural areas, whether that's oil and gas or wind or ethanol, all of them really doing quite well. It's a good time to be Kansas.
You have a history, of course, in agriculture from years now. Did you ever think we'd see cattle prices where they are? This is great for the Kansas economy, has to.
Oh, it is. It is, because cattle are 60% of the ag industry, and that I may be a little low even on that. Mm-hmm. It is a huge portion of it. It scares me sometimes, when you drive by some of these feed yards and you see the animals out there, and you're thinking, how much capital is walking around that yard because of the price of those, what beef is bringing now. But this is a big time for us. And in our future, Ken, what we're going to have to do is produce more agricultural products with less demand on the resource base. So it gets complicated, But you've got a lot of technology coming in, a lot of capital coming into the field, a lot of new thoughts and ideas that I think really hold a bright future for it.
Talk about agriculture. I have to ask, our neighbors to the west, Colorado, have a new crop. Is that something you're interested in growing the Kansas economy?
I don't think so. They're having quite a few problems with that too. We're having quite a few problems with their new crop from what we're seeing in law enforcement activities in the state of Kansas. So that's not something I'm interested in.
Good. We're talking with Governor Sam Brownback about the state of Kansas agriculture. You're watching the Kansas Ag Report.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
We are talking with Kansas Governor Sam Brownback. Well, Governor, as your career in being in Congress, being in the U.S. Senate, and now Governor, you have seen all sides of government regulations. Some good. Many in agriculture think those are going on right now are quite unusual. Let's talk on a couple of them. One, the lesser prairie chicken, and it put Kansas right in the bullseye.
Lesser prairie chicken has just been a disaster. It's a wrong move by the federal government. It's not necessary. And we've got a problem with prairie chickens because we didn't get any rain. Mm-hmm. So this year we get some rain and our population's up 20%. And I'm going, now what changed so radically over last year that our prairie chicken population is up 20%? Did we have a whole bunch more land that was zoned out of agriculture, energy production? Was this or that? No, we got some rain. And that's what I've been telling the federal officials about. And on top of that, they've been cutting back CRP acreage, which if you want to develop habitat, that's one of the great things you can do is support CRP. So I really think they have taken on the wrong target at a bad time. And it scares a lot of other places because there's a lot of other places that have a prairie chicken or a grouse type of bird that's in a similar status to the lesser prairie chicken, that they could expand these zones over huge tracts across the western part of the United States.
So really the key is to continue to talk with those federal officials and tell them or use sound science so they can hopefully make a correct decision.
Well, you got to talk to them, but then we've also sued them. And we want to do a propagation program. We used to raise lesser prairie chickens as a state of Kansas in the 50s. We were down in one of our reports, we were down to 2 flocks after the Dust Bowl, one in Meade and one in Clark County of lesser prairie chickens. No habitat, no rain. When that comes back, the prairie chicken came back.
Another thing that has really kind of taken a life of its own, not only affecting agriculture, but anybody that's really around to use this water, is the EPA and their proposed new definition of waters of the United States. And that has a huge impact on states' rights and on business in general.
We have to fight this one to the hilt. If the EPA is able to basically define any body of water, including puddles and ponds, as waters of the Americas that they're entitled to regulate, they're going to be in everything. And I think this is really one we just have to go to the hilt. And if it's in lawsuits, pushing back, whatever the rate and way that we can do this, because this is a inherently state issue, water. And we fight about water amongst ourselves. We've litigated against Colorado 3 times on water, or litigated against Nebraska on water, because this is about the water rights of Kansans, and that goes broadly. And I think we have to be very aggressive, because if you ever let the federal government get a foothold in this, we will live to regret that day. And that's why we're pushing so strongly back on the federal government taking on this broader definition of what water is.
And there's so many other issues, I'm sure, with regulation. Talk about being governor. Is it as frustrating as it was when you were in the Senate trying to stop these?
No, because you can do a number of things as governor. And then having been in the federal system, I can see ways that you can push back, and that's what I do a lot of.
Very good. Governor, again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ken.
You're watching the Kansas Ag Report.
My wife Nikki and I feel very strongly that it is important to welcome people into our operation so they can see what it is we do for a living, and that we place a lot of integrity and thought into the production of food for the consumers in this country and around the world. Matter of fact, we feel it's much more than just a business. It's an honor to do those things for people, and with that comes a great deal of responsibility.
One of the goals of the Kansas Farm Food Connection is to connect consumers with the folks that grow the food that we enjoy, whether that's through these farm tours like we had today or even through social media. So we're just looking for a variety of ways to answer questions that consumers have and get the two connected.
Hi, I'm Dana.
We've welcomed some folks from Johnson County, Kansas, the Kansas City area, Frazier and Dana and their daughter Rebecca. And they're here to just kind of get an idea of what we do in our business day to day, whether that be farming or feeding cattle. The purpose of that is just to help them achieve a connection with their food and where it comes from. In today's modern era of agriculture, there's so few people that have a direct connection to their food, and so that's our goal today, is to just give this family an opportunity to get a glimpse into our lives here on the farm.
I joined Kansas Farm Food on Facebook, and then all of a sudden this contest came up, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to learn about all this stuff and be a part of it. It's really learned about the families. Not very many people realize what goes into these farms and these families, how hard they work, and the science behind it all.
Today we had a family out to visit us during wheat harvest time, which is always there's a lot of heritage, not only to our family, of course, but also to the entire state. When wheat harvest is occurring in Kansas, it's such an important crop. We had a great time exploring the combine and how it works today and the amazing technology that we have to utilize. And I think that's important as a farmer. I think that's part of my responsibility, part of stewardship almost, is to share my story and our family's story. So it's wonderful to be able to have an opportunity to have those conversations about shared values, and for them to be able to come out and see what we're doing on a day-to-day basis here and look at some of our soil, some of our wheat and some of the crops that's growing in the fields, and have that conversation about how we raise those crops that are important to them as a consumer.
You know, I'm from Kansas, I live in Kansas, and now I love Kansas even more, knowing what these farmers do for us each and every day. They're ambassadors for the state. They both have really surprised me a lot. I didn't realize how much technical and scientific things go into the farms to get to our table.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City is celebrating the grand opening of their new dealership at I-70 and Highway 77, and we are giving away a new 2014 F-150 Lariat Crew Cab 4-wheel drive truck. All you need to do is come check out the new Dick Edwards Auto Plaza and register for the F-150 or one of the many other prizes to be given away between now and August 16th. Don't miss out on your chance to win this 2014 F-150 Lariat now. Only at Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, located at I-70 and Highway 77 in Junction City.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
The Red Hot Summer Sales event is going on now at Dick Edwards in Manhattan, and you have never seen a selection of America's best lineup like this before. We've got year-end sales pricing right now on Ford, Lincoln, and Mazda. You won't want to miss 0% interest on select models, top dollar for your trade, and if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll get it. The Red Hot Summer Sales event is going on now at Dick Edwards in Manhattan, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3-quarter or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
The most comprehensive study ever conducted about the return on investment of beef checkoff assessment shows each dollar invested between 2006 and 2013 returned about $11.20 to the beef industry. Results from the study conducted by Cornell Professor of Applied Economics and Management Harry Kaiser were presented during the Cattle Industry Summer Conference in Denver. He found all 8 program areas funded by the checkoff, including beef advertising, channel marketing, public relations, industry information, new product development, nutrition research, beef safety research, and product enhancement research, had a statistically significant positive impact on increasing the demand for beef. Volunteer checkoff leaders said the findings suggest those determining how to spend checkoff dollars are on the right track. Kaiser's cost-benefit analysis concluded between 2006 and 2013, total domestic beef demand would have totaled 15.7 billion pounds, or 11.3% less without checkoff marketing programs in place. Holding all other demand drivers constant, activities funded by the Beef Board resulted in a beef demand increase of 2.1 billion pounds per year. Had the checkoff not invested in foreign market development, demand for U.S. beef exports would have been 6.4% lower. The bottom line of Kaiser's study is that increased demand due to checkoff-funded marketing efforts resulted in higher prices for beef producers. This translated to higher net revenue than would have otherwise been experienced.
Hi, I'm Brian Holder with Paragon Ag. The grain markets have received nearly ideal weather so far this summer. A few areas are needing finishing rains for the corn, but for the most part the trade considers it made. If the weather comes in as forecast for the first half of August, the soybean market will look overvalued and the corn market could add on to its recent losses. We do want to note the departure from normal precipitation map shows net drying over the last month. The effects of drying were offset by the below average temperatures during July, but the trade is showing some concern over the soybeans. Wheat may have put in a near-term seasonal low, but could struggle to rally with its premium to corn, and the continued outlook for hefty supplies from key exporters should limit that advance. This coming Tuesday, August the 12th, the USDA will update their supply and demand numbers. Private firms are pegging the final corn yield near 172 bushel per acre average, with soybeans near 45. While we are seeing a huge crop developing, the yield estimates appear to be lofty in light of the fact that the USDA's largest corn yield estimate for August came in 2010 at 165. The psychology of the market remains bearish for now as the market awaits the USDA's report on Tuesday. We'll see what they say. For questions or comments, give Paragon a call at 888-452-8751.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Bryan Hallman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.